This UDFA wide receiver has a great chance to make the roster. What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I want to get into a UDFA who I think had a great spring and has a real shot to make the New York Jets roster. Before we get started, Matt O'Leary NY on social media, and check out the Talkin' Jets channel, baby. Every Tuesday we are live streaming over there, and of course there is just, clips and all kinds of content going on over on the new channel, so make sure to check that out too. So today I want to get into fan favorite, or at least I'm going to build the cause to make him become a fan favorite. I am in on Jason Brownlee, the wide receiver out of Southern Mississippi. I thought he had a really nice spring, and before everyone left, this is what Aaron Rodgers had to say. He made a note calling out both Jason Brownlee and Xavier Gipson for their efforts, and obviously those are two young guys who are trying to make this roster, right? Like, that's the goal here for some of these younger players. They are fighting tooth and nail for not playing time, just to make the roster. And I really think Brownlee has a good chance to make this team. They gave him a lot of money for an undrafted free agent at the wide receiver position, and he looked good in spring. And again, you don't want to put too much stock in OTAs or mini camp or any of that stuff, but sometimes you have to read the tea leaves a little bit in some of the stories lines. For whatever reason, Denzel Mims does not feel like it is going to work out with the New York Jets. I liked Denzel Mims a lot coming out of college. Thought he was a late first round pick. The Jets were able to trade back in the second round and get him. I was thrilled with that. I thought he flashed as a rookie. Then the last 2 years happened, and that's hard to ignore. And yes, I think part of it had to do with how, he was utilized, and, you want to, give the player some benefit of the doubt, but Denzel also didn't necessarily help himself along the way. And right now, it just, sometimes when regimes change, you have guys who you feel like, okay, that's someone that, we like and want to be a part of this team going forward. And then there's a regime change, and it's like that guy doesn't really fit the bill anymore. He doesn't matter as much anymore in our system. We want to go a different direction, and that's what ends up happening. And I think there's reason to believe that someone like Brownlee could push a Denzel Mims off the roster. And I know being a former second round pick holds some value, and part of me, yes, wants to see what he could look like, he being Denzel, with a real quarterback in Aaron Rodgers and a different offensive system. But if the rumblings out of the spring are true, that supposedly the offensive staff isn't necessarily in love with Denzel Mims, don't you think they're going to give their own guy the opportunity instead of the guy who's been here for a little bit and was drafted when a different coach was here? I mean, he's 6'2", 198. He's good in catch and run situations. He's a good athlete, has nice size. Isn't the greatest contested catch guy or jump ball guy for his size, but something that he has that Denzel Mims does not offer, which, like it or not, this is a really big part of what you need to do in order to make a team as a depth wide receiver, as a sixth wide receiver, is he has special teams experience. Denzel Mims doesn't really play specials, and he's tried, but it just hasn't worked, unfortunately. And this is a guy in Brownlee who had 55 catches, 891 yards, and 8 touchdowns this past year. I think there's a reason why they, looked at him as a priority free agent and then ponied up and gave him some cash. They gave him a decent amount of money for a UDFA. And sometimes when looking at those things, it matters. And, it's not uncommon for teams to find UDFAs who have a little bit of an impact. I mean, Robbie Anderson at the wide receiver position was a UDFA going back to 2016. Bryce Huff was a UDFA. There are definitely guys who, you're able to find as undrafted free agents and then get them in a role. And I'm not saying that Brownlee's going to be a star or anything like that. That's not what anyone is saying. I think he has a legit shot to be the sixth wide receiver, because you look at how things are constructed right now. Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, Corey Davis, Mecole Hardman, Randall Cobb. That's 5. There's maybe 1 or 2 more spots at the wide receiver spot. And how do you not carry Brownlee? If he continues this into the summer, and depending on how he looks in training camp in the preseason, I don't know, man. I am buying the hype. I am joining the Jason Brownlee hype. I think he is going to be wide receiver 6 on this team. I'm sorry, Denzel Mims. Big fan coming out of college. Liked him as a rookie. Wanted him to get a little bit more of a chance, but sometimes you just have to, say it's not working. He needs a fresh start somewhere else. And how many opportunities are you going to give a guy? So sound off below. I want to hear your take on it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you next time.